fastest rider this side of the toy box. Former star of Woody's Roundup. And tonight, I'm gonna show you 5 things, important things, not fancy things, not expensive things, but things that remember. And I know that sounds strange. Objects don't remember, of course. Well, not usually. But they hold stories. And toys. Toys are made of stories. We carry every game, every hug, every goodbye, every time somebody picked us up and made us feel like we mattered. My story is about love, being forgotten, being afraid, and then learning how to belong again. So, if you're comfortable, just relax. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to do anything. Just listen. I will take care of the talking. I'm pretty good at that. Jessie tries ASMR. Alright, let's begin with the first item. This is my hat. My red cowgirl hat. Pretty, isn't it? I know. A cowgirl should not brag about her own hat. But come on now. Look at this thing. The shape, the stitching, the brim. It has been through a lot. Dust, boxes, adventures, airports, toy rooms, new homes, old memories. This hat has seen every single version of me. But when I hold it like this, softly, carefully, I don't just think about myself. I think about her. Emily had a hat too. A red cowgirl hat, just like mine. Not exactly the same, maybe, but close enough that when she put it on, we matched. She would put on her hat, pick me up, look me straight in the face and say, "Come on, Jessie. We've got work to do." And suddenly, her bedroom wasn't a bedroom anymore. It this is it. This is what I was made for. Not to sit pretty, not to stay perfect, not to be displayed behind glass. I was made to be held. I was made to be dragged across the carpet. I was made to lose a little stuffing from too much love. I was made for adventures with a child who believed I could do anything. Emily used to brush my yarn hair. Sometimes that brush got stuck. Sometimes she pulled too hard. Sometimes she gave me hairstyles that no respectable cowgirl should ever wear in public. But I loved every second because she was taking care of me in her little shy way. She would say, "Jessie, you have to look nice. We're going riding." And I would sit there, patient as anything, because to be cared for by a child, even imperfectly, is one of the sweetest things in the world. At night, she would put me beside her pillow, sometimes under her arm, sometimes right against her cheek, and I could hear her breathing slow down after a long day of playing. That was my favorite sound. Just Emily breathing softly, falling asleep, while holding me close. That sounds meant I was safe. It meant I belonged. It meant I was hers, and she was mine. There were days she took me outside, bright, sunny days, the kind where everything smelled like grass and warm sidewalks. She would sit me on the porch, or carry me to the car, or tuck me into a bag with snacks and crayons and all kinds of things children think they are necessary for survival. Sometimes she forgot I was upside down in the bag. Sometimes my head got squished. Sometimes I ended up with cookie crumbs in my hair. But I didn't care, because I was included. That's all a toy really wants. To be included, to be chosen. Emily would talk to me like I understood everything, and I did. Maybe not the way humans understand, but toys understand love very well. We understand tone. We understand hands. We understand when a child reaches us because they are happy, or sad, or scared. We understand when they need comfort. And Emily needed comfort sometimes. Every child does. There were nights she was afraid of storms. Big thunder, lightning flashing across the windows. She would pull the blanket up over both of us and whisper, "It's okay, Jessie. I'm not scared." But she was. I could feel it in the way she squeezed me. So I stayed still, very still. Because sometimes that's what love is. Not saying anything, just staying. And that's what I thought love meant. Staying. I thought if impossible that anything could change. But things do change, even when you don't want them to, even when you're not ready. This hat reminds me of how quickly happiness can become memory. How something warm can turn painful just because it ended. For a long time, I couldn't hold this hat without thinking about what I lost. But now, I can hold it and remember that I was loved. Really loved. And even though that love didn't last forever, it was real. Alright, let's set this down carefully. We will come back to it later, because this hat has one more thing to say before the night is over. Now, look at this. A Jessie Doll, still in the box. Clean, neat, untouched. Look at her in there. All perfect. Hat in place, face smiling. No dust on her boots, no loose stitching. No signs that anybody ever dragged her across a carpet or dropped her behind a bed or hug her too tight during a thunderstorm. She looks exactly the way a collector would want her to look. Perfect condition, original packaging, display ready. That used to sound impressive to me. Being a collectible, being rare, being valuable. Back in the Woodies Roundup days, we had all kinds of merchandise. Dolls, lunchboxes, records, books, posters, buttons, you name it. Woody was the sheriff, Bullseye was the loyal horse, Stinky Pete was the old prospector, and me, I was Jessie, the yodeling cowgirl. I had a big voice, a bigger attitude, and enough energy to jump over a canyon before breakfast. On the show, I was brave, always brave. If there was danger, I ran toward it. If there was trouble, I had a plan. If somebody needed help, I was already on my horse. That was my role. The fearless one, the fun one, the one who never slowed down long enough to be sad. Funny, isn't it? Sometimes the character people see is not the whole story. Woody's Roundup made us famous, at least in our little world. Children watched us, collected us, played with us, wanted to be cowboys and cowgirls because of us. That should have been enough, right? To be wanted by so many people, to be on shelves, to be remembered, to have your face printed on things. But fame is strange. It means everybody knows your name, but not everybody is protected, but untouched. And toys were not made to be untouched. At least that's what I used to believe. There is something beautiful about being played with, even when it hurts a little. A scuffed boots mean you went somewhere. A loose thread means somebody held on you too tight. A faded hat means sunlight found you. A stain means you were part of a real day. Perfect toys may look beautiful, but love toys may have stories. And I would rather have stories. At least, that's what I would have said before everything happened with Emily. Before the box. Before the fear. Before I started thinking maybe being preserved was safer than being loved. Because the terrible thing about being loved is that love can leave. And the terrible thing about being played with is that one day the playing stops. So when somebody says you could be preserved forever, that starts sounding tempting. No more being forgotten. No more waiting. No more heartbreak. Just a clean box. A safe shelf. A label with your name on it. Forever. But then I look at this doll and I wonder, is forever really worth it if nobody ever holds you? Is safety really safety if it feels like loneliness? Is being admired the same as being loved? I don't think so. Not anymore. But I understand why I almost believed it. I really do. Let's put this little Jessie down. She has her own box to stay in. But my story has a different box. And that one is not so pretty. This is just a cardboard box. Plain, ordinary, nothing special to look at. But to me, a box like this can feel bigger than a whole desert. A box like this can hold more than toys. It can hold silence, dust, waiting, questions, and heartbreak. Emily's box looked ordinary too. That's the thing about painful memories. Sometimes they come in very normal shapes. A room, a song, a shirt, a cardboard box. Nobody else looks at it and understands why your heart suddenly gets quiet. But you know, your body remembers. I remember the first day. At first, I didn't understand. Emily was cleaning her room. She was older by then. She wasn't little anymore. Her walls changed. Her music had changed. Her clothes had changed. Her friends had changed. And I noticed. Toys notice everything. I noticed when she stopped reaching for me. I noticed when I spent more time on the shelf. I noticed when I didn't sleep beside her anymore. I noticed when she stopped wearing the cowgirl That's what I believed. Then she picked me up, and for a moment, oh, for one beautiful moment, I thought she remembered. I thought she was going to hold me close, maybe laugh, maybe say, "Jessie, where have you been?" Maybe put on the hat again, maybe bring back the desert and the canyon and the runaway train. But she didn't. She just looked at me, quietly, like I was something from a long time ago, something she used to know, something she had loved, but no longer needed. Then she put me in the box. At first, I thought it was temporary. That word can keep you alive for a while. Temporary. Just for now. Just while she cleans. Just until tomorrow. Just until she remembers. So I waited. I waited with hope. The kind of hope that makes every sound feel important. Footsteps. Maybe Emily. A door opening. Maybe Emily. A laugh from another room. Maybe Emily. For a while, every noise became a promise. But promise can fade. The room kept changing outside the box. I could hear it. Drawers opening, music playing, friends talking, Emily laughing. Life continued. That was one of the hardest parts. The world did not stop just because I was forgotten. The sun still came through the windows. Cars still passed outside. Emily still grew. And I stayed inside, still waiting. Dust has a sound, you know. Not loud, not dramatic. Just soft, slow, almost nothing. But when you are alone long enough, you start to feel it settling on your hat, on your face, on your memories. At first, I tried to stay cheerful. I told myself, she'll come tomorrow. Then, she'll come next week. Then, she will come when she misses me. Then eventually, I stopped making promises for her. Because every promise hurt when it didn't happen. The worst thing about being abandoned is not just that somebody leaves. It's that your mind starts turning against you. You start asking questions that have no answers. Was I not fun anymore? Was I too old? Too silly? Too childish? Did I remind her of something she wanted to leave behind? Did I love her too much? Could I have done something different? Could I have stayed important somehow? That is what being forgotten does. It makes you think you caused it. But I didn't. I know that now. Children grow. That's what they do. It isn't cruel. Sometimes it's just life. But understanding something doesn't mean it stops hurting. children do. A child can grow out of a toy, but the toy stays in the same place, still loving the child exactly as they were. That is a strange kind of sadness. To love somebody in a version of them that no longer exists. Then one day, the box opened, light came in, and I thought, this is it. She came back. I was so ready. I would have forgiven everything in 1 second. All the waiting, all the silence, all the dust. Thought of it mattered if she had come back for me. But she hadn't. She was older, much older, and she was cleaning things out, not returning, not remembering the way I had hoped, just moving on. She picked me up, and I looked at her, and for a second, I saw my Emily, not the older girl, not the one with new music and new friends and new clothes. My Emily, the little girl with the red cowgirl hat, the one who held me during storms, the one who made mountains out of pillows, the one who needed me. And maybe she saw me too, just for a second. I like to believe she did. But then the moment passed, and I went back in the box, and the lid closed. That sound, I carried that sound for years. The lid closing. That was the sound of hope ending. After that, I changed. I was still Jessie, still loud, still fast, still funny. But inside I became afraid. Afraid of dark spaces, afraid of being put away, afraid of getting attached, afraid of children, afraid of loving anybody who could someday grow up and leave. People sometimes think fear looks quiet, but sometimes fear looks loud. Sometimes fear talks too much, pushes people away before they can leave. That was me. I didn't want anyone to know how scared I was, because cowgirls are supposed to be brave. And I had been brave once. But being brave before you are hurt is easy. Being brave after, that is different. For a long time, I thought the box was my ending. But it wasn't. It was a wound. A deep one. But not the end. Sometimes, when you are inside your own box, whatever that box is, grief, fear, This little thing looks simple. A plane ticket. Just paper. But this paper carried one of the biggest questions of my life. Japan. The museum. A place where I would never be forgotten again. A place where people would come to see me. A place where I would be protected, preserved, important, forever. After Emily, forever sounded good. It sounded safe. No child could outgrow me in a museum. No one could leave me under a bed. No one could put me in a donation box. No one could love me for a season and then move on. In the museum, I would stay exactly the same. Clean, displayed, remembered. A perfect Jessie, just like that dog in the box. And I wanted that. I know it may not sound like me. Jessie, the wild cowgirl, wanting to sit still behind glass. But fear can change what you think you want. When you have been hurt badly enough, safety can start looking better than happiness. Predictability can start looking better than love. A glass case can start looking better than a shy's room. Because at least glass does not promise to love you and then grow up. Stinky Pete understood that fear. He wanted the museum. He wanted no risk, no children, no damage, no being tossed aside. And I understand him more than I want to admit. Because part of me wanted that too. Part of me thought, maybe this is what I need. Maybe being admired from far away is enough. Maybe if nobody plays with me, nobody can hurt me. But then Woody came along. Woody believed in being played with. He believed toys belonged with children. He believed the risk was worth it. And I thought he was foolish. Honestly, completely foolish. Because he still had faith. And faith can be very annoying when you are trying to stay scared. He talked about Andy, about home, about being loved. And every word made me angry. Not because he was wrong, because he was saying the thing I wanted to believe, but was too afraid to believe. That is often what makes us angry, isn't it? Not nonsense, but hope. Hope can be painful when you are not ready for it. This ticket was not just a ticket. It was a choice. Do I choose safety without love? Or love with the risk of loss? Do I choose being preserved or being alive? Do I choose forever behind glass or one more chance to be held? And I did not know what to do. Because the truth is, love is dangerous. answer was to understand that even if love changes, it still matters. If I went to the museum, I would be remembered by strangers. If I went with Woody, I might be loved by a child again. And that terrified me. But it also called to me. Because deep down, under all the fear, I was still a toy. And toys are made for love. Not shelves, not glass, not perfect packaging. Love. So when I look at this ticket, I don't just remember a flight. I remember almost choosing loneliness because it felt safer. And I remember that sometimes healing means taking the risk anyway. Not because you are afraid, but because you do not want fear to make every decision for the rest of your life. That is a hard lesson. I still work on it. Sometimes I still get scared. Sometimes a dark closet feels too familiar. Sometimes a cardboard box makes my whole body freeze. Sometimes I hear a child say they are too old for something, and my heart remembers Emily. But I am not only that memory anymore. I am more than the box, more than the fear. And that is why I did not get on that plane. Aww, now look who it is. Bullseye, sweetest horse in the whole wide world. Come here, you. Bullseye does not say much, but he doesn't need to. Some friends speak with words, and some friends speak by staying close. Bullseye is the staying close kind. And after everything I had been through, I needed that more than I knew. He was there during the roundup days. He was there when things got complicated. He was there when I was scared. And he never made me explain myself. That is a special kind of friendship. The kind that does not demand you heal faster. The kind that does not say, "Why are you still upset?" The kind that just sits beside you and says, "I'm here." Even without words. Especially without words. Bullseye never looked at me like I was too much, too emotional, too loud, too afraid, too damaged. He just loved me the same way every time. And consistency is very powerful. Because when you have been abandoned, you start expecting love to disappear. You watch for signs, a closed door, a box on the floor. You become very good at noticing danger. And when someone is kind to you, you may not trust it right away. You may think, when will this end? When will they leave? But Bullseye stayed. Again and again and again. And slowly, that staying did something. It did not erase Emily. Nothing could erase Emily. And I do not think I would want that anyway. But it softened the fear just a little. It reminded me that not every attachment ends the same way. Not every friend leaves. Not every new home is a box waiting to happen. When I met Andy, I was scared. Another child, another room, another chance to be loved, another chance to be forgotten. But Andy loved his toys differently than I expected. He gave us stories, big ones, wild ones. He made us pirates, heroes, villains, space rangers, cowboys, cowgirls, everything. And I felt it again. That old feeling. The one I thought I had lost forever. The feeling of being part of a child's imagination. At first, it scares me. Then, it healed me. Little by little. Game by game. Day by day. I remembered how to be played with. I remembered how to laugh without waiting for the ending. I remembered how to belong. Bullseye helped with that. Woody helped too. Buzz and the others. But Bullseye was steady. When I panicked, he was steady. When I tried to pretend I was fine, he was steady. You need at least one steady friend in this life, toy or human. Somebody who does not make your fear feel ridiculous. Somebody who sees the frightened part of you and stays anyway. And then came Bonnie. Another child, another transition, another goodbye. By then, I understood more. Not everything lasts the same way forever, but that does not mean it was not good. And he loved us. Then he grew, but he did not throw us away. He gave us a new place to be loved. And I think that is when I finally understood something important. Growing up does not always mean abandonment. Sometimes it means passing love forward. Emily could not do that for me. Andy did. And that helped something inside me settle. Bullseye was there for that too. Of course he was. Still loyal. Still ready for the next adventure. I think that is what I love most about him. He does not let all fear stop him from running toward joy. Maybe that is wisdom. Maybe that is courage. Maybe that is just Bullseye being Bullseye. Either way, is a hard thing to believe when you are grieving. When something ends, it can feel like the whole story is over. But sometimes, it is only the part you understood. There may be another part waiting. A strange part, a scary part, a beautiful part, a part you could not imagine yet. If you are listening tonight, and there is something you lost, someone, someplace, some version of yourself, I will not tell you it does not hurt. It does. Loss hurts because love mattered. But I will tell you this. Being left does not mean you were not worth keeping. Being forgotten does not mean you were forgettable. Being outgrown does not mean you were childish or small or unimportant. Sometimes people change. Sometimes life moves. Sometimes doors close. Sometimes boxes close too. But that does not mean you belong in the dark forever. I wish I could go back and tell the Jessie in Emily's box that. I would tell her, hold on. The box is not the whole world. You are still loved. Even if this person cannot carry you forward, you are still Jessie. You are still worth choosing. And one day, somebody will open the lid. You need to hear that too. So I'll say it to you. You are still worth choosing. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are not only what happened to you. You are not just a box. You are not just a goodbye. You are not just a